What if a single letter could change everything we thought we knew about Princess Diana and the royal family? Imagine this. A hidden message, sealed away for decades, written by one of the most beloved yet misunderstood figures in modern history. A letter so personal, so revealing, that it could unravel secrets about her deepest struggles, her fears for the future of the monarchy, and even her hopes for her sons, William and Harry. For years, rumors swirled about Diana's private letters, notes filled with raw emotion and unfiltered honesty. But this letter, addressed to Princess Anne, was different. It wasn't just another heartfelt message to a confidant. It was a letter to someone she was never close to, someone who had often kept her at a distance. Why Anne? And what could Diana have wanted to say to her that was so important it had to be kept hidden for over 26 years? Now, this letter has finally been uncovered, and its contents are more shocking than anyone could have imagined. Could this one document hold the key to understanding Diana's true feelings about the royal family, her final years, and the legacy she hoped to leave behind? Or was it something even more startling, a warning about the future of the monarchy itself? Stay with us as we uncover the story behind this mysterious letter and the untold truths it reveals about Princess Diana's life, her struggles, and her enduring impact on the royal family. Princess Diana was known for her deeply personal handwritten letters, messages that offered a raw, unfiltered glimpse into her thoughts and emotions. Unlike the carefully curated image the royal family often presented to the world, Diana's letters were full of vulnerability, passion, and confessions she could never express publicly. They weren't just words on paper. They were windows into her soul, revealing the struggles and heartbreak of a woman trapped between duty and desire for freedom. Over the years, many of these letters have surfaced, giving the public rare insights into Diana's private world. But among all the notes and messages she penned, one letter stood out as both puzzling and extraordinary. A letter addressed to Princess Anne. Why Anne? Diana and Anne were never close. In fact, their relationship was often described as distant, even cold, and was known for her no-nonsense attitude and strict adherence to royal traditions, while Diana's warmth and emotional openness often clashed with the rigid expectations of royal life. This letter, however, was different. It wasn't just a casual note or a simple thank you message. It was something far more significant. A piece of communication so unique and unexpected that it raised countless questions. Why would Diana, who was known to confide in her closest friends and allies, reach out to someone who had always kept her at arm's length? What could have been so important that she felt compelled to write to Anne, of all people? Adding to the intrigue was the secrecy surrounding the letter. For over 2 decades, its very existence was hidden from the public. Unlike Diana's other letters, which were often shared or leaked to the press, this one remained locked away, tucked into a private collection. The royal family never acknowledged it, and even after its discovery, they refused to comment on its contents. This silence only fueled speculation. What was in the letter that made it so sensitive? Was it a plea for help, a warning, or perhaps a revelation the royal family didn't want the world to see? The mystery deepened when the letter was finally uncovered. After 26 years of secrecy, it emerged from a private archive, raising more questions than answers. Why was it hidden for so long? Who had kept it, and why? And most importantly, what truths did it reveal about Diana's life, her struggles, and her relationship with the royal family? This letter wasn't just another piece of correspondence. It was a puzzle, a key to understanding the hidden dynamics within the royal family and Diana's own complex emotions. It stood as a testament to her courage and her determination to speak her truth, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. But as the world now examines its contents, one question remains. What was Diana trying to tell us? And why did it take so long for her voice to be heard? When it comes to the dynamics within the royal family, few relationships were as complex and misunderstood as the one between Princess Diana and Princess Anne. On the surface, they couldn't have been more different. Diana was known for her warmth, charisma, and emotional openness, qualities that made her the people's princess and endeared her to millions around the world. And, on the other hand, was the epitome of royal tradition, stoic, reserved, and fiercely independent. While Diana wore her heart on her sleeve and preferred to keep her emotions hidden behind a tough, no-nonsense exterior. This stark contrast in personalities often led to tension between the two. Anne, who had grown up under the strict rules of royal protocol, reportedly viewed Diana's emotional and modern approach to royal life as frivolous and attention-seeking. Diana, in turn, struggled to connect with Anne, who seemed distant and unapproachable. Their differences weren't just personal. They reflected a deeper divide between the old and new ways of being royal. Diana represented change, compassion, and a break from tradition, while Anne embodied the steadfast, duty-first mentality that had defined the monarchy for centuries. Historical accounts suggest that their relationship was strained from the very beginning. When Diana married Prince Charles in 1981, and reportedly didn't make much of an effort to welcome her into the family. Unlike the Queen or even Prince Philip, who were said to have grown fond of Diana in her early years and kept her distance, she was known for her blunt, sometimes brusque demeanor, and it's said that she viewed Diana's popularity with suspicion, perhaps even jealousy. One of the most telling moments of tension came in 1984, during Prince Harry's christening. While most of the royal family attended the event, Anne was notably absent. Her decision to skip such an important family occasion was seen by many as a deliberate snub, further fueling speculation about her frosty relationship with Diana. Although Anne later claimed she had prior engagements, the media and royal watchers couldn't help but interpret her absence as a sign of disapproval or indifference toward Diana and her growing family. Even in public appearances, the tension between the two was hard to ignore. While Diana charmed crowds with her radiant smile and approachable demeanor, and often appeared aloof and uninterested, there were few, if any, moments of visible camaraderie between them, and their interactions seemed formal at best. Some insiders even suggested that Anne's strong personality intimidated Diana, who was still finding her footing in the royal family and struggling with her own insecurities. However, their relationship wasn't entirely without nuance. Despite their differences, there were moments when Anne reportedly admired Diana's dedication to her charitable work. Diana's ability to connect with people on a deeply personal level, particularly with those who were sick or marginalized, was something even Anne couldn't dismiss. And while Anne rarely showed it, some believe she may have quietly respected Diana's courage in challenging the royal family's rigid traditions, even if she didn't agree with her methods. Still, the overall dynamic between Diana and Anne remained cold and distant. Their interactions were shaped by their clashing personalities, their differing views on royal life, and the pressures of being part of a family constantly under public scrutiny. This makes the existence of Diana's letter to Anne all the more surprising. Why would Diana reach out to someone who had always kept her at arm's length? Was it an olive branch, a desperate plea for support, or something else entirely? The relationship between Diana and Anne was never simple, but it's this complexity that makes the discovery of the letter so intriguing. It raises questions about what might have been said between two women who, despite their differences, were bound by the unique and often isolating experience of being royal. Could this letter have been the key to bridging the gap between them? Or was it simply Diana's way of ensuring her voice would be heard, even by someone who had never truly understood her? For over 26 years, the letter remained hidden from the world, tucked away in a private collection that few even knew existed. It wasn't until recently that this extraordinary piece of history came to light, sparking a wave of curiosity and speculation. How did a letter written by one of the most iconic figures of the 20th century stay out of public view for so long? And why was it kept so secret, even as the world clamored for more insights into Princess Diana's life and legacy? The story of the letter's discovery is as mysterious as the letter itself. It was reportedly found among a collection of private documents belonging to a close confidant of Diana's, someone who had been trusted with some of her most intimate thoughts and feelings. This individual, whose identity remains undisclosed, had quietly preserved the letter, perhaps understanding its significance, but choosing not to reveal it during their lifetime. After their passing, the collection was inherited by family members, who eventually decided to share this incredible find with the world. The letter's emergence has raised many questions about why it was hidden for so long. Unlike some of Diana's other letters, which were leaked or sold to the press shortly after her tragic death in 1997, this one remained completely off the radar. Was it deliberately kept out of public view to protect Diana's legacy? Or was it withheld because its contents were too sensitive, too revealing, or too damaging to the royal family's carefully maintained image? The royal family's silence on the matter only adds to the intrigue. Despite the global attention surrounding the letter's discovery, Buckingham Palace has refused to comment, as they often do when it comes to personal matters involving Diana. This lack of response has fueled speculation that the letter contains information the royals would rather keep buried. Perhaps insights into Diana's struggles within the family, her fears for the future of her sons, or even her thoughts on the monarchy's inability to adapt to a changing world. What makes this letter particularly compelling is what it hints at regarding Diana's state of mind during her final years. By the time the letter was written, Diana had already endured a highly publicized divorce from Prince Charles, relentless media scrutiny, and a profound sense of isolation within the royal family. She was a woman under immense pressure, trying to navigate her role as both a mother and a global icon, while dealing with personal heartbreak and betrayal. The letter's contents reportedly reveal Diana's deep concerns for her sons, William and Harry, and their future within the monarchy. She feared that the same rigid traditions and lack of emotional support that had caused her so much pain would eventually harm her children as well. In the letter, she is said to have expressed her hopes that someone within the family, someone she believed could understand, would step up to protect them. Surprisingly, that someone was Princess, and the choice to address the letter to and is itself a mystery. Given their strained relationship, why would Diana choose her as the recipient of such a heartfelt and important message? Some believe it was a calculated move, a way for Diana to reach out to one of the few royals she thought might have the strength and independence to act on her behalf. Others suggest it was a desperate attempt to bridge the gap between them, to find common ground in their shared experience of being royal women navigating an often unforgiving institution. The letter also reportedly touches on Diana's fears for the monarchy as a whole. She is said to have warned about the institution's inability to modernize and connect with the public in a meaningful way. These concerns, which she voiced publicly in interviews during her lifetime, take on a new level of poignancy in the context of the letter. It's as if Diana foresaw the challenges the royal family would face in the years to come. From the growing divide between tradition and modernity to the struggles of her own sons as they tried to carve out their own paths. The discovery of this letter is more than just a historical footnote. It's a powerful reminder of Diana's enduring legacy and her ability to see beyond her own struggles to the bigger picture. It's a testament to her love for her children, her courage in speaking her truth, and her unwavering belief that the monarchy could and should be a force for good in the world. But as the world now examines this letter and its implications, one question remains. Why did it take 26 years for this piece of Diana's story to finally be told? The contents of Diana's letter are nothing short of extraordinary. A deeply personal and emotional message that reveals her fears, her hopes, and her unrelenting love for her children. It is a rare glimpse into the mind of a woman who, despite being one of the most famous figures in the world, often felt unheard and misunderstood. The letter's words carry an emotional weight that is impossible to ignore, painting a picture of a mother desperately trying to protect her sons and a woman unafraid to challenge the institution that had caused her so much pain. At the heart of the letter is Diana's stark warning about the monarchy's future. She expressed grave concerns about the royal family's inability to adapt to a rapidly changing world. Diana had always been aware of the disconnect between the monarchy and the public, and in the letter, she reportedly wrote about the dangers of clinging too tightly to outdated traditions. She feared that the royal family's unwillingness to modernize would not only alienate the public, but also place an unbearable burden on her sons, William and Harry, who would one day inherit this legacy. Diana's warnings were not just about the institution itself, but also about the people within it. She feared that the same rigid expectations, emotional coldness, and lack of support that had caused her so much suffering would be passed down to her children. She worried that William, as the future king, would be forced to suppress his emotions and conform to a role that might strip him of his individuality. For Harry, she feared he would feel lost and overshadowed, struggling to find his place within a system that often favored tradition over personal happiness. What makes the letter even more shocking is Diana's decision to address these concerns to Princess Anne. Despite their differences, Diana seemed to believe that Anne, with her strong-willed and independent nature, was the one person within the royal family who might understand and act on her plea. In the letter, Diana reportedly begged and to look out for William and Harry, to ensure that they were protected from the same emotional neglect and isolation she had endured. It was a mother's heartfelt plea, a final act of love for her sons, written in the hope that someone, anyone, within the family would step up to shield them from harm. The emotional weight of Diana's words is palpable. She wrote with the raw honesty and vulnerability that had always been a hallmark of her personality. This wasn't just a letter. It was a cry for help, a desperate attempt to ensure her children's well-being in a world that had often been unkind to her. Diana's love for William and Harry shines through in every line, as does her determination to do whatever it took to protect them, even if it meant reaching out to someone with whom she had a strained relationship. The letter also reveals Diana's deep sense of foreboding about her own future. While she didn't explicitly predict her untimely death, there is a sense of urgency in her words, as if she knew she might not have much time left to ensure her son's safety and happiness. This adds a haunting layer to the letter, making it not just a piece of history, but a deeply personal and emotional document that speaks to the enduring power of a mother's love. In the end, the letter is more than just a critique of the monarchy or a plea for help. It is a testament to Diana's strength and her unwavering commitment to her children. It shows a woman who, despite being battered by the institution she married into, never lost sight of what truly mattered: her son's happiness and well-being. Diana's words are a reminder of the sacrifices she made, the battles she fought, and the legacy she left behind. As the world now reflects on the letter's shocking contents, it becomes clear that Diana's voice continues to resonate, even decades after her death. Her warnings about the monarchy's future, her plea to protect William and Harry, and the emotional depth of her words serve as a powerful reminder of the challenges she faced and the love that defined her life. This letter is not just a piece of Diana's story. It is a piece of history that will continue to shape how we understand her, the royal family, and the enduring impact of her legacy. Princess Diana's legacy is one of compassion, courage, and foresight, and her warnings about the monarchy's future have proven to be eerily prophetic. In her lifetime, Diana was often criticized for breaking royal traditions and speaking openly about her struggles. But in hindsight, her actions and words seem to have captured the pulse of a changing world. Her fears about the monarchy's inability to adapt to modern times and her hopes for a more humanized royal family have become central to the ongoing evolution of the institution. Diana's prediction about the monarchy's decline was rooted in her understanding of its rigidity and resistance to change. She recognized that the royal family's survival depended on its ability to connect with the public in meaningful ways. In her letter, she warned that clinging to outdated traditions and failing to embrace emotional openness would alienate future generations. Today, her words seem almost prophetic as the monarchy faces growing scrutiny and waning public support, particularly among younger generations who view it as increasingly out of touch with contemporary values. One of the most striking aspects of Diana's legacy is how her sons, William and Harry, have embodied her rebellious spirit in their own ways. Both princes have challenged royal norms, albeit in different directions, and have become central figures in the debate about the monarchy's relevance in the modern world. Prince William, as the heir to the throne, has taken steps to modernize the monarchy from within. He has adopted a more approachable and relatable image, often appearing with his wife, Catherine, and their children in informal settings that break with traditional royal formality. William has also championed causes like mental health awareness, openly discussing his own struggles, a stark contrast to the emotional reserve traditionally expected of royals. In many ways, William's actions reflect Diana's vision of a monarchy that is empathetic, transparent, and connected to the people it serves. Prince Harry, on the other hand, has taken a more radical approach, stepping away from royal duties entirely to carve out his own path. His decision to leave the royal family and speak openly about the challenges he faced growing up in the institution mirrors Diana's own struggles with feeling trapped and unsupported. Harry's interviews and memoirs have shed light on the pressures of royal life, echoing many of the concerns Diana raised during her lifetime. His actions, while controversial, have forced the monarchy to confront uncomfortable truths about its treatment of individuals within the family and its role in the modern world. Interestingly, Princess Anne, who was once seen as a bastion of traditional royal values, has played a subtle but significant role in supporting a more modernized monarchy. Known for her no-nonsense attitude and dedication to duty, and has quietly adapted to the changing times, embracing a more practical and less ostentatious approach to royal life. She has often been praised for her hard work and down-to-earth demeanor, qualities that have helped bridge the gap between the old and new generations of royals. In recent years, Anne's influence has become more apparent as she has taken on a mentoring role within the family. While she remains a traditionalist in many ways, she has reportedly supported William and Catherine's efforts to modernize their public image and connect with younger audiences. Anne's pragmatic approach to royal duties and her ability to adapt without compromising her core values make her a quiet but powerful ally in the push for a more relevant and relatable monarchy. Diana's legacy is also evident in the causes championed by the royal family today. Issues like mental health, social justice, and environmental sustainability, causes that Diana was passionate about, have become central to the royal agenda. Her influence can be seen not only in her son's work, but also in the way the monarchy has gradually shifted toward a more compassionate and socially conscious image. However, the challenges Diana foresaw remain very real. The monarchy continues to face criticism for its perceived lack of transparency and its struggles to connect with a diverse and evolving society. The younger generation's skepticism about the institution, combined with the ongoing fallout from Harry and Meghan's departure, has put the royal family at a crossroads. Whether it can fully embrace Diana's vision of a modern, empathetic monarchy remains to be seen. In the end, Diana's legacy is not just about her personal struggles or her tragic death. It is about the enduring impact of her ideas and values. Her warnings about the monarchy's future, her hopes for her sons, and her belief in the power of compassion have shaped the royal family in profound ways. As the institution continues to evolve, Diana's voice echoes through the actions of her sons, the subtle influence of Princess Anne, and the ongoing debate about what it means to be royal in the 21st century. Her prophecy was not just a prediction. It was a call to action, one that continues to resonate as the monarchy navigates an uncertain future. The discovery of Diana's letter has left the world with more questions than answers, shining a light on the complex relationships and hidden tensions within the royal family. While the contents of the letter are deeply emotional and revealing, they also raise significant questions about Diana's choices, her relationships with other royals, and the inner workings of the monarchy. One of the most puzzling aspects of the letter is Diana's decision to address it to Princess Anne. Historically, Diana and Anne were known to have a distant and occasionally strained relationship. And, with her no-nonsense personality and adherence to royal protocol, often seemed at odds with Diana's more emotional and unconventional approach to royal life. Reports from the time suggested that Anne had little patience for Diana's struggles with the media and the pressures of royal duties, viewing her as overly dramatic or attention-seeking. So why would Diana turn to Anne, of all people, with such an important and deeply personal plea? Perhaps Diana saw something in Anne that others overlooked. Despite their differences, Anne was one of the few members of the royal family who had managed to carve out her own path while remaining firmly committed to her royal duties. She had a reputation for being fiercely independent, hardworking, and unflinchingly loyal to her family. Diana may have believed that Anne's strength and pragmatism made her the ideal person to protect William and Harry from the rigid expectations of royal life. It's also possible that Diana saw, and as someone who could act as a counterbalance to the more traditional and emotionally distant members of the royal family. Anne's straightforward nature and sense of duty might have made her a trustworthy ally in Diana's eyes, even if their relationship was not particularly close. In addressing the letter to Anne, Diana may have been appealing to her sense of responsibility and her ability to take decisive action when needed. Another lingering question is whether Anne ever acted on Diana's plea to protect William and Harry. The royal family is famously private, and Anne herself has rarely spoken publicly about her relationships with other members of the family, let alone about Diana. If Anne did take steps to fulfill Diana's request, she likely did so quietly and without drawing attention to herself. Some have speculated that Anne's role in mentoring younger royals, including William and Harry, could be seen as a response to Diana's plea. While Anne has always maintained a low profile compared to other senior royals, she has reportedly offered guidance and support to her nephews over the years. Her influence may not be as visible as that of other family members, but it is possible that she has played a behind-the-scenes role in helping William and Harry navigate the challenges of royal life. However, the question remains, was Anne able to do enough? Given Harry's eventual decision to step away from royal duties and the ongoing tensions between him and the rest of the family, it's clear that Diana's fears for her sons were not entirely unfounded. Whether Anne's efforts, if any, were sufficient to address these challenges is a question that may never be fully answered. Perhaps the most significant aspect of the letter is what it reveals about the inner workings of the royal family. Diana's decision to write such a letter in the first place speaks volumes about the lack of open communication and emotional support within the family. It suggests that Diana felt isolated and unable to address her concerns directly with those who held the most power, such as the Queen or Prince Charles. Instead, she turned to Anne, someone who was both inside the family and somewhat removed from its central power dynamics. The letter also highlights the deep divisions and conflicting personalities within the royal family. Diana's struggles with the institution were well documented, but the letter suggests that these struggles were not just personal, they were systemic. The rigid expectations, emotional coldness, and resistance to change that Diana experienced were not unique to her, but were indicative of a broader culture within the monarchy. By addressing her concerns to Anne, Diana may have been acknowledging the limitations of other family members to understand or act on her plea. For example, Prince Charles, who was deeply entrenched in the traditions of the monarchy, may have been unwilling or unable to see the changes Diana believed were necessary. Similarly, the Queen, while respected for her sense of duty, was known for her reserved and stoic nature, which may have made her an unlikely ally in addressing Diana's concerns. The letter also raises questions about the role of individual agency within the royal family. While Anne may have had the ability to influence William and Harry's upbringing to some extent, the broader structure of the monarchy likely limited what she could do. The royal family operates within a strict hierarchy, and any attempts to challenge or reform its traditions would have faced significant resistance. Ultimately, the letter is as much a reflection of Diana's state of mind as it is a critique of the royal family. It reveals a woman who is deeply concerned for her children's future and willing to take extraordinary steps to ensure their well-being. At the same time, it exposes the challenges of navigating a family and an institution that often seemed more focused on preserving tradition than addressing the emotional needs of its members. The unanswered questions surrounding the letter serve as a reminder of the complexities and contradictions of royal life. While the monarchy is often portrayed as a symbol of stability and continuity, Diana's letter reveals the tensions and struggles that exist behind the scenes. It is a poignant testament to her love for her sons, her frustrations with the institution, and her unshakable belief in the need for change. As the world continues to reflect on Diana's legacy, these unanswered questions remain at the heart of the story, offering both a challenge and an opportunity for the royal family to learn from the past and build a more compassionate and modern future. Whether they succeed in doing so will ultimately determine whether Diana's warnings were heeded or tragically ignored. Princess Diana's legacy endures as a symbol of love, compassion, and courage. Her life and actions were a reflection of her unwavering determination to challenge the status quo, to bring humanity to an institution steeped in tradition, and to protect the people she loved most, her children. The letter, with its deeply personal content and prophetic warnings, is a poignant reminder of Diana's foresight about the monarchy's future. She saw the cracks in the foundation long before others did, and her words continue to resonate today as the royal family faces the challenges of modern relevance and public scrutiny. But what was this letter truly about? Was it Diana's final warning to save the monarchy from itself? An attempt to push it toward the change she believed was necessary for its survival? Or was it something far more personal? A desperate plea from a mother who feared for her son's well-being and wanted to ensure they would not suffer the same pain and isolation she endured? The truth may lie somewhere in between. Diana's ability to think beyond herself, to see the bigger picture while still acting from a place of deep personal love, is what made her such a unique and transformative figure. Her letter encapsulates this duality, a call for institutional reform and a mother's cry to protect her children from harm. As we reflect on the contents of her letter and the questions it raises, we are left to wonder, has the monarchy truly learned from Diana's warnings? Have her hopes for a more compassionate, modernized royal family been realized? Or do her fears still linger in the shadows of tradition? We invite you to share your thoughts. Was this letter Diana's final warning to save the monarchy, or a mother's desperate plea for her son's future? Let us know in the comments below. Diana's story is not just history. It is a mirror to the challenges and choices that lie ahead for the royal family, and perhaps for all of us who strive to balance tradition with change, duty with emotion, and legacy with love.